Nothing.
All right, we are live. Welcome to the first episode of Bucket Warrior. This is our first live stream. This is presented by Sports Dynasty and Mafia Sports Report.
Yep.
I'm excited to be here. This is our first live stream. And in terms of basketball, we've had other live streams
Right with the NFL.
and yeah, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna go over the over-unders on the win totals for both Eastern Conference and Western Conference. Yeah. So it's your co-host. If you've been listening to Sports Dynasty, it's your usual co-host, Raul
And Alex, how you doing?
We're here, and we're ready to get this done, man.
All right, so we're gonna start off with the Eastern Conference. Formerly known as the least, but they actually became good now.
Yeah, they've improved as a conference.
And Mafia Sports Report says that the Pistons are making moves. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they picked up Bojan.
They've been Bojan Bogdanovic, yes. Only trading State of the League and Kelly Olynyk. So
Great move.
So far, as you know, I'm actually in love with Detroit's roster, but we'll get there.
That was minor technical difficulties.
Okay, that was weird technical difficulties. We're back. But anyways, we're gonna start with the Orlando Magic, right? And so far, they had an interesting offseason. They drafted Paulo Banchero after winning the lottery.
That was pretty much their big move. Yeah.
And nothing else. It's pretty much
They re-signed Gary Harris, I believe.
Yeah, they re-signed Kyrie Harris.
That was
They re-signed Mo Bamba.
And they re-signed Mo Bamba, who had a great second half of the season to close out. So that was a good sign for Orlando.
And they actually will hopefully have a full season of Markelle Fultz.
Yes, he's improved so much over the years, especially with the problem that he had back then in Philly. So this is a young group. They got the young core. Franz Wagner, he had a great Euro basketball this year.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He was playing phenomenal. So he's going to improve.
And Orlando's over-under is 27.5. I will say this. I'm gonna start real quick. I will say this. They won 22 games last year.
Yeah.
But they were beat up with injuries.
Yeah, they did have a lot of injuries. I'm going to go over, but I'm going to say they win 28.
You say they win 28? Okay. Now, here's my thing with Orlando. Now, because you have a lot of guards that need playing time. You have Jalen Suggs. You have Cole Anthony. You have Markelle Fultz. You have Terrence Ross, which I won't say he needs playing time, but he's the veteran of the team, and he's one of the spark plugs off the bench. You have you have Gary Harris as well, who's a good 3-and-D wing off the bench.
Who's also a vet.
Right, exactly. He's also a vet. So I feel like it's a log jam guards. I used the bigs. You know what you got. You got Banchero. You got Wendell Carter. You got Mo Bamba. You lost Robin Lopez. Ty, okay.
That's fine.
And you got my boy Chumo Okiki off the bench as well, who could light it up from three.
You know what confused me about this team was when they re-signed Gary Harris and they still have Terrence Ross. Now, I understand you want to have the vet presence in the locker room.
Right.
But I kind of feel like it's a situation where you should at least trade one of them.
No, I feel like you should trade Terrence Ross. Yeah. I feel like a contending team can use that. I think a team like the Cavaliers can use a person like Terrence Ross.
Yeah, they would love a person like Terrence Ross. And I feel like at this point, with having those two veteran wings with guards, they're slowing down the progression of these young guards. They're stacked on young guards.
No, they are stacked on young guards. There's a lot of them. So I'm gonna go over. Actually, I should like the team. I think they could win 30 games if they stay healthy.
It's possible. I think it's a tough over-under. I'm going to go 28, but we're both going over. So I think things are good in Orlando. They just got to, like other teams would say, trust the process.
Right.
I think Franz is going to have a big year. I think Cole Anthony's going to have a great – I think Cole Anthony averages about 20 points per game this year. So I think this team is in a good note. Just they got to keep year by year.
Just build on what you have. Don't try to rush anything.
Mm-hmm.
because that's where some of these teams go down under because they try to rush everything. Just let it happen. Up next, as alluded earlier, the Detroit Pistons, who before the over-under was 28.5, but with the acquisition of Bojan Bogdanovic, it went up to 29.5.
When
That's it.
This team, that's crazy. They put it only by one game, but it's still a tough conference nonetheless. But when this team picked up, this is a vet. This is a guy that could play make. This is a guy that could play on both sides of the court. I mean, it's a very tough conference, but I wouldn't be surprised if this team. I'm gonna say this. I think this team is a playing team, so I'm gonna go over as well on this team. Out of all the teams in the bottom of the barrel of the Eastern Conference, I think this is the team that took the biggest leap.
Right. If you're a betting man, this is my favorite bet out of all of them. Only 29.5. To me, that's an easy over. You got Kay Cunningham, who at the second half of the year was amazing. Nothing short of it. They stole Jaden Ivey from the draft at pick number 5. They also stole Jalen Durant from the Charlotte Hornets so they could trade down to get Mark Williams in their own right. They still have
Marvin Bagley.
Bay. They still have Marvin Bagley that they got pretty much for free. But yes, you lost Kelly Olynyk, but you improved with Bojan Bogdanovic, and you got Isaiah Stewart anyway,
who's also improving every year too.
Exactly. Who's also trying to space the floor and see the construction floor, so Marvin Bagley can have more room on the inside.
I mean, if any sign that shows that this team is at the point that they are at now, they're good at developing their players, is when they traded for Marvin Bagley, and he performed right away with this team. And he had a good second half of the season as well. So you got Marvin Bagley, who looks better, Isaiah Stewart. You got Saddiq Bey. It looks like 3 times a month he's dropping like 40.
Right.
And you got Kay Cunningham, who we all know he's going to be a future All-Star, more than likely a future All-NBA player in this
Probably
league.
a future MVP.
More than likely as well. So, yeah, I'm going over.
Yeah, I think he's that good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's easy over. And I like the coach Dwayne Casey as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, moving on to the Indiana Pacers. This is like the first full year of them blowing everything up. They still have Miles Turner, so I guess I still won't say that. And I think he's gonna play out the rest of this year, unless they have a deal that they can't really refuse. And honestly, I would trade him as soon as possible just so they can actually get something for him, because I have a feeling Miles Turner would not be returning for the team.
I agree with you. I think they should trade him as soon as possible. They're trying to transition to this rebuilding phase, but they're not 100% all in on it yet. They got to. Buddy Hield and Miles Turner should not be in this team.
No, they shouldn't. They should be somewhere else, preferably the Lakers, but that's another conversation for another day. But they should ship him off to something, because people will give draft capital for him. They're two very, very solid players in their own right. And I don't want to spend too much time on them. They got Tyrese, who I think they stole him from Sacramento. I don't know why Sacramento traded him, but it's neither here nor there. They got Bennedict Mathurin off the draft, which is interesting. They re-signed Jalen Smith.
That was a good re-sign.
Yeah. Who looked pretty good. I wish they would have got DeAndre Ayton off, free agency, but Phoenix matched the contract, or else they would have no center.
Right. I think this is an under with this team. What is it?
23.5.
Yeah, I think it's an under. This team should. This is one of the teams where I would say they're probably going to intentionally tank, and they probably should.
Yeah. Honestly speaking, is like you have a few decent young players, but then it's nothing really substantial. I think what they really need is that transcendent player, and they don't really have that.
They want to be in Orlando and Detroit's position. They're on the way to doing that. But
right.
They have to get into Orlando and Detroit's position. So they should trade those players and just tank, try to get a top 3 pick in next year's draft.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I'm going under. I don't like
for sure
that
under.
much,
yeah.
But hopefully, and in the future they can.
Oh, they got Chris Duarte too.
Oh yeah,
they got Chris Duarte too. He's a nice young player too.
He's good, but I kind of don't want to call him young because he's kind of old for a second year. He's like 24.
Well, he played all 4 years, huh?
Yeah, he's one of the players. Actually. Moving on to Washington, whose offseason is. It was something.
Yeah, I mean, it was something. I think with this team, this team trusted in these young pieces that they have, hence why they re-signed Bradley Beal to the max to that deal. They didn't want to lose their guy, quote unquote, and try to rebuild. They want to see the potential of this team when all those young guys get in the right place.
I understand, and I don't agree with that because, again, it's like re-signing Bradley Beal to a no trade clause is crazy. I'm sorry. Like, Bradley Beal is a very, very good player. He's one of the best scorers when healthy. Had a down year last year, but it happens. Every player has those.
Yeah.
Honestly, like LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, for a player of his caliber, him getting the Supermax and a no trade clause, so he could pretty much decide where he goes, and you're very limited on what you can get back because of that no trade clause. I'm sorry, I completely disagree with it.
Yeah, the no trade clause I think was it was a stretch. It was definitely a stretch, but I think they just bought in entirely to him. I mean, these guys got my favorite piece from that team is Rui Hachimura. I hope they keep him. I know Alex thinks differently about him. I like him a lot.
I think he's there.
I like they got Daniel Gafford. They got I think Avdija.
Yeah.
Avdija. So they got some young pieces there. They got Monte Morris, correct?
Yeah, they actually have point guard play now, which
they
did not have last year because they had Dinwiddie over there and he was absolutely terrible.
They got Kuzma. Kuzma, he broke out in this team.
Yeah, Kuzma was pretty much their playmaker. And last year, they got Porzingis off the trade, for pretty much get rid of David Bertans' contract, and Dinwiddie, who again was not good in this team at all.
It was terrible in Washington. Yeah.
And you also got rid of Montrezl Harrell for Ish Smith, which you used that piece to get Will Barton and Monte Morris along with trading KCP. So it's not that I don't like the players in this team. It's just it's nothing I'm too excited about.
Yeah, I would say it's decent pieces, but if these young guys end up being great. But again, I think the peak of this team is a consistent playoff appearance, and it looks like that's what they bought into, which is kind of weird.
It's like if you bought into just match the success you had when it was both John Wall and Bradley Beal.
Yeah, that's weird. So I don't agree with what they did. I'm just telling you what I think they did.
Also, they drafted Johnny Davis. I forgot to add that part.
Right.
That again, they went in on point guard depth because last year it was virtually non-existent. But do I think this team was better today than they were last year? Yes. 35.5 though? I don't like that. I'm going under with that one.
Nah, too strong of a conference for that.
Yeah, too strong. And it's, to me, one of the weaker teams. Are they even better than Detroit to me? Not really.
No, I don't think so.
And I think they're better than Orlando, but I think it's way closer than what people would like to admit it is.
I'll say this. They will be battling with those three. Those three teams will be battling for a playing spot.
Right. Next up, New York. 38.5 is the number. And their offseason was, I'm sorry, but to me, it was very entertaining. It gave us basketball folk a lot of content to talk about. So they moved heaven and earth to get, of all people, Jalen Brunson, which, good player, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not, but trying to move heaven and earth to pay Jalen Brunson, pay him like $30 million per year is crazy to me. I'm sorry. They traded Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks to Detroit, who I forgot to add is also in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
You still got Fournier. You still got RJ Barrett. You resigned RJ Barrett actually because you couldn't get Donovan Mitchell because Utah was trying to get him on the long deal as well, and New York wasn't really trying to have that. You unfortunately still have Julius Randle in that contract, which I think New York is praying last year was an anomaly because last year he was terrible to say the least.
He had a horrible year.
But the thing is with Julius Randle is that he is a super ball stopper. Like, he will hold the ball for 20 of the 24 seconds in that shot clock.
Yeah.
Just to try him to shoot a contested mid-range anyway.
That's my thing. That's why it's a big question mark with them signing Jalen, with them getting Jalen Brunson, because what are you going to have Julius Randle play off the ball?
He's not going to be effective in that role.
He's not a spot-up player. He needs the ball in his hands. Jalen Brunson can occasionally play off the ball, but his strength lies with him handling the ball, playing around the mid-range area, which means that Julius Randle is going to spread the floor, obviously. So he's going to be stretching out to the corner three?
Probably.
Which is weird. Now, this team has shooters. They do have shooters. They got Fournier. They got Barrett, who's I'm sure he's going to be better than he was last year.
You got Quickly if they actually let him play.
If they let him play, yeah, they got Quickly. I don't know. Because the biggest problem with this team is that they still have Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, it feels like you're trying to go into a new role, but you still have the same coach leading your men, which I'm sorry, I just don't understand that. Like, I'm sorry, having bench depth in a Tom Thibodeau-led team is the most useless thing of all time because he's just not good to use them.
Yeah, he just doesn't know how to run rotation. He doesn't know how to rotate his players the correct way. Hence why quickly rode the bench for so long last year, and then in the second half of the season, maybe like the last 10 to 15 games, he came back and they started pushing back and winning games up to the point where they almost challenged the playing spot.
You have to think about it like this. He preferred to start Alec Burks at the point guard spot over Emmanuel Quickly.
This is a player that just plays in the wing, plays spot up. You give him the ball. You give him the ball to score, not to facilitate, not to play make. So that's Tom Thibodeau's coaching and offense. He just does, my opinion, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Right, he does. He doesn't with the team. The time Isaiah Hartenstein, I like Isaiah Hartenstein. I think he's pretty good. You got Mitchell Robertson, who you re-signed him rather.
Right.
Which, for the money, it's good. He can remember protect. He just doesn't play all that much because he likes to foul a lot.
Right. And Hartenstein, another player, can stretch the floor. So I'm assuming this team is they're gonna have the floor spread often. Now, defense, it's all on how Julius Randle is gonna play off the ball, really.
Because I feel like if Julius Randle is good,
then there's a problem.
There's a problem. Even though I wouldn't even go that far, I would just start Obi Toppin. I
would start Obi too, because he also stretches the floor.
Because it felt like when Obi Toppin was there, good things happened.
Yeah, he was one of those guys where he just knows how to make the right play, whether it's he runs the pick the right way, rolls out when he needs to, fades out when he needs to, crash the boards in the right moment. He has a good feel for the game.
Right. And I just want to pose this question just for the sake of it. Let's just say if they do get down, they would have gotten down to Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
What would that even have looked like?
Kind of similar. I would say it would look similar to how they're going to run Jalen Brunson.
But they already had Jalen Brunson, though. That's what I'm saying.
With Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson? The problem with that is, again, it's Julius Randle.
You have two small guards who are both ball dominant, and unlike the Cavaliers, which we'll get to, you don't have two big men who can lock up on the defensive end. So you're just going to look even worse on the offensive side, on the defensive side of the ball.
The difference between Luka and Mitchell is Luka's a playmaker, Mitchell isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would have been pretty bad.
And then Luka actually has size.
Yeah.
To comment that. So, yeah, I'm going under. I'm not the biggest fan of this team, but if Randle or Obi plays really, really well, I can see them being like a 43-win team.
Yeah, if let's say Randle plays the way he played 2 years ago, where one-on-one he was pretty much taking advantage of every matchup that he had.
Right.
There's a lot of open shots that's going to be attempted for the Knicks wings. So if it's all on Randle. If Randle performs, let's say he plays, I'll say in an all-star level, it's going to be over.
Right.
Yeah.
One last point before I move on. Derrick Rose, why is he still there? They should have been trading him too.
There was a report today that said he is the best he felt since his rookie year, physically.
No, I could believe that. I'm just saying, it's just like.
Yeah, I thought with them getting Jalen Brunson automatically meant that it canceled out Derrick Rose.
Right. But it is what it is. Next up, the Charlotte Hornets. Another one of my favorites. The value is 36.5. That's an easy under. This team sucks.
Yeah, this team is garbage. This is the team probably got the worst. This is the worst. They did not improve whatsoever.
No, they got worse.
They got worse.
Miles Bridges is not coming back to the team. Maybe he might later down the line if everything gets cleared up, but he's not. You lost Miles Bridges, right? And you didn't even replace him. Your team is the same. You lost Montrezl Harrell, actually. He wasn't that good for Charlotte, but you still lost him.
Still a body, especially a big.
Right, exactly.
They need all the bigs that they could get.
So you're pretty much relying that James Bouknight off the bench actually plays really well. You rely on Kelly Oubre or maybe PJ Washington to run the floor. And you got to hope Mark Williams is good.
So they pretty much lost 20 points per game on the board.
Yes.
Completely lost it. Something tells me Kelly Oubre isn't a player who could play too many minutes. You got Terry Rozier, but he shoots in a high volume, so he's high risk, high reward. He's going to have those days where he looks unstoppable. He's going to have those days where he shoots about 10 threes and he only made one.
Yeah, there's the reason why the Cavaliers made the finals that one year.
Right, so this team, this is going to be one of the worst teams in the East to me, in my opinion.
Unless LaMelo takes like a Chris Paul level jump, like Chris Paul did in year 3, that he was pretty much an MVP caliber player, this team isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
This team is too bad.
This team is very bad on a Eastern Conference that got stronger.
Like, you're still studying. You're probably still going to be starting Mason Plumlee for some unknown reason. I'm about to say, Gordon Hayward was only good for like 50 games at most.
This was a team. If anyone needed DeAndre in, it was this team. They needed him desperately. Phoenix was going to match no matter what. But for them to not even be in the discussion was crazy.
They need either him, they need a player like JaVale McGee, they need a player like something. And for as little as the Mavericks give for Christian Wood, they should have probably got him too.
Yep. They need anything in that interior. Scoring-wise, defensive-wise, they need it very badly. Plus, you need someone to run the pick and roll with LaMelo.
Right.
If you have no threat as a big, it makes it very easy to guard LaMelo and Terry Rozier. So this team has a big problem. Clear under.
Yeah, clear under. I do not like this team at all. And also hate the coaching hire. It's like, okay, Kenny Atkinson backed out and decided he wants to stay in Golden State. Cool, whatever. You signed a coach that you fired already, that you pretty much know what Steve Clifford's going to get you. He's going to get you one really good year. It's not going to be this year, though, because, again, in his defense, what does he really have to work with?
Not much.
He's going to give you one really good year, and the rest is going to be very, very mediocre. That's just the Steve Clifford MO. And I don't hate Steve Clifford. I actually like him more than I think other people do, but it's like, you just know what you're going to get from him.
They kind of settled with his signing.
Yeah, you settled. Like, I think, especially since you have LaMelo, I feel like this would be the perfect time to get like that young type of coach for them to grow together, which you did not do, not even close. But moving on, their ceiling is playing who's by 40 again.
Pretty much for the third straight year, the sky is falling in Charlotte.
Right, 10 seed. I can't even say the sky is falling. They're used to this.
They are used to nonsense like this.
Yeah. Shout out to the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Anyways, next up, the Atlanta Hawks, who found their identity in their win total 45.5. So they pretty much said, we want defense. We want defense. We want defense.
Yeah, their offseason, they probably sat in a room and just played the entire Miami series and said, okay, we got to pick up whatever helps. Whatever they exploited in this series, we got to pick up players too, so that won't ever happen again.
Right, because that was really bad. I don't even know how Atlanta won a game, to be honest.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was one of the worst sweeps I've ever seen. It wasn't a sweep, it was a five-game series. But it felt like a sweep. I don't care. Anyways, so you got DeJounte Murray now. All NBA defender, very good playmaker, and could score as well. Just an all-around really good player.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, perfect fit for alongside Trae Young. You only have to give up a few first-round picks, which are unprotected. But since you're assuming you're going to be good, that's not really going to mean too much.
And the best part about that is that DeJounte Murray's young.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the best part about that. So these two are going to be a pair for quite some time.
Right. You have DeAndre Hunter still, which hopefully he can stay on the court. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
You still got John Collins.
Yep.
You still got Capella and Onyeka Okongwu. You lost Dylan Wright, so what? It happened.
That's not a huge loss.
Exactly. And you can actually run lineups where Josh Bird could run with that second unit anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You drafted AJ Griffin, who out of the lottery, which I really liked. And honestly speaking, and you also got Justin Holiday and Maurice Harkless.
Yeah, they got
Justin But traded Kevin Huerter, which for the direction this team was trying to go, I understood it because Kevin Huerter, not a good defender.
Yeah. So
45.5. I'm not gonna lie to you, I copped out on this one. I said not available.
This is when you get these are one of the better teams, especially with the way they improved this year.
Right.
They made their weaknesses their strengths, and I commend them for that. But this is a tough one. I'm gonna go over on this. I think this team's gonna be a lot better. I am very interested to see how DeJounte Murray works with Trae Young off the ball. Right. Trae Young is a very fast player. I feel very confident in his movement off the ball, but we have to wait and see, of course. And push comes to shove, when Trae Young is off, you can always hand the keys over to DeJounte Murray for some time because he knows how to work the game at his own pace.
Right.
He's a fantastic facilitator of the ball.
Actually, no, I have an answer. I think they go over, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Because the best teams know what they are.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Atlanta knows what they are. They have their identity, and they got players. I think that matches what Nate McMillan wants to do.
Right.
Because he is a defensive-minded head coach.
And that was one of the first moves of free agency of the offseason was DeJounte Murray. So they knew what they wanted as soon as the season ended.
Right.
They knew. So I feel confident in this team being better than what they were last year.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna go over. I like this Atlanta team. Throw the 20 again, please. Next up, the Cleveland Cavaliers at 47.5. They did one major thing. They got Donovan Mitchell.
They snatched him out of nowhere.
They snatched him out of nowhere because I didn't even think they were a contender for him until I got the alert that, he's in Cleveland now.
Right. It kind of felt like that year where OKC just snatched Paul George out of nowhere. It just like one day you just get the notification, it just happened.
Right.
Like they just got him.
And they only traded Connor Sexton, who barely played last year anyway.
They didn't need him.
And Lauri Markkanen.
See, that was the loss,
and also Ochai Agbaji, the first round pick that they got.
That was the loss, but if I got to pick between Markkanen and Mitchell, I'm gonna take Mitchell, especially the way this team season ended last year. Darius Garland needed some support in that perimeter.
Right. Now, you have a full-year Cass LeVert in your team, so hopefully he actually plays better than what he did last year, because last year he didn't look too hot.
I think he's going to play better because his responsibility went down.
Yeah, he did have a lot of responsibility.
He had a lot of responsibility.
For being their secondary ball handler, secondary perimeter scorer.
Now it's third. So.
Yeah. You got Ricky Rubio back, which before he got injured looked great.
Great defender, great facilitator.
He even dropped 40 on the Knicks. I remember that. That was a great day.
Now Darius Garland can rest and Ricky Rubio could facilitate.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
you still got Jarrett Allen, who was an all-star last year. You still got Evan Mobley.
He's going to be.
And you still got Isaac Okoro, which thankfully for them, since you got Donovan Mitchell, you don't really need to rush his scoring development, even though if you can have a good 3-ball, that would be dangerous because you're already a really good defender.
I think it's like if he could make like 1 or 2, then they're fine. I'll also like to note, I don't think people understand how big of a responsibility Darius Garland had last year. Going into the end of the season and going into the play-in.
They were running Rajon Rondo at this day and age.
Yeah.
At backup point.
And there was another point guard I remember they picked
Brandon Goodwin.
They picked Brandon. And there was another one. I can't remember his name.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Right. But they were in such desperate need of a playmaker that they were just signing guys.
Oh, they got Kevin Love, by the way. Forgot to add that part.
And they still got Kevin Love, who played phenomenal last year. He was in the top running for 6th man of the year last year, right?
No, he was great last year.
Yeah, so great guy to come off the bench. He's a vet. He spreads the floor. So great pick and roll, great pick and fade.
I think he's happy that he's winning again.
Yeah, I think that was his problem because I remember he had frustrations early on. He don't want to be in an environment where he's losing
anymore
constantly.
He already did that. He already did that in Minnesota. He's done with that.
Right. So I think it's over. This team, I'm excited to watch this team. Alex and I watched the team a lot last year. This is a fun team to watch.
They were fun to watch last year when they were actually healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But injuries murdered them. But it's all right. I think that's for the best anyway. Now, Brooklyn, 51.5. Did we say the Cavaliers over under for over here?
What was it, 48?
47.5.
47.5? I said over.
I said over as well, for sure. Okay. So I wanted to make sure. Anyways, Brooklyn, 51.5.
All right, so with Brooklyn, this team is better, right? Ben Simmons is coming back, obviously.
Yeah, which I feel like no one surprisingly isn't talking about that much.
Yeah, they really isn't talking about that much. Remember,
this team actually got better off the bench.
I like to remind people, Ben Simmons is a All-NBA first-team level defender.
No, he is.
Right?
He should have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, this is a guy who could win Defensive Player of the Year. You could put him on pretty much anyone because he's 6'10". They picked up Royce O'Neal, who's also a great defender. So this is another team that kind of looked at their weaknesses,
right,
and kind of tried to improve it.
And they also signed T.J. Warren off the bench.
Right, and they got T.J. Warren, too, who's a great scorer. If he's healthy, he's good for about 15 to 20 points a game.
Right. It just, I haven't seen him play basketball like in 5 years, it felt like. So it's like...
I would like to see how they run Kessler Edwards this year, because I kind of like him.
And Cam Thomas should have a bigger role this time.
Thomas. So they got guys. If Kyrie Irving is in the right mental state, he'll be there, too. But I'm sure KD will be there.
Yeah. And not to mention, they still got Seth.
And they got Seth.
I think they brought back Patty Mills as well.
They did re-sign Patty Mills. Now, here's my thing. I'm gonna go over, and here's why. I do acknowledge Kyrie. He might have his episode. Let's say that happens. Fine. And I know around this point in his career, KD's a little injury prone. But my thing is, Ben Simmons knows how to run a team, especially when he's by himself. I see him do it as a rookie.
He knows how to get straight.
Right. He knows how to run a team. So if those guys are out, I still trust Ben Simmons to get regular season wins. Now, their problems are playoff problems, but we're talking about regular season here, right?
Right.
So I think this will work out great. I'm going the over.
I'm gonna go under, but barely. I'm gonna go like under, and then win like 50 games. Cause here's my thing: Kevin Durant is not the most healthy player in the league anymore.
He's not,
because he ever since he came back from that Achilles injury, he missed significant time every year afterwards. He'll be back in time for playoffs, but he's missing like around 20 games during the season.
I agree.
Kyrie Irving, I don't know what the hell he's thinking half the time. Ben Simmons, again. He could win games by himself in the regular season. That's not really an issue. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they're gonna lose more games than they should because of the fact that Durant and Kyrie isn't gonna be there. Because Kyrie Irving is also injury prone.
He is. Yeah. Even if he's on his right mental state, he might get hurt anyway.
And also Steve Nash still your coach. Why? I don't know. That's still a playoff problem. Well,
yeah.
But I feel like you're going to lose games in the regular season because of him. Like last year when we went to the game when they played the Bucks and they ran Goran Dragic as a catch and shoot threat as opposed.
I remember that.
You know what? We were there.
Yeah, we were there. I remember that. Yeah. It's a tough call. It's a tough call.
No, I think this team is better this year than they were last year. Because you know why? Because they got size. They got scoring depth now.
Exactly, which they did not have last year, which is what we tried to tell everyone constantly.
Even though losing Bruce Brown sucks.
It does suck, but my thing is, like, you're getting Ben Simmons.
And one more concern I have for them is this. Who's your center?
That's another problem.
Aside from Ben Simmons, I appreciate he might be running their 5.
Right.
Who's the center?
That's another problem. They're still, because I do not believe in Nick Claxton whatsoever. I think he's terrible. And anyone who knows me knows every time he's on the TV screen, I get upset. It's just not good.
I think that Boston game when he missed like 8 straight free throws before he made one, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. So, but this is a problem that this team's always had. I think it's one of those situations where they just accepted it. Again, a playoff problem. But
and honestly, of all the teams Kevin Durant was like wanted to go to realistically, this was his best chance to win something here. It was.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Next up, Chicago. It was 44.5. Then we got news about Alonzo. He got surgery in his knee, and he's getting, I think, rebounded, 4 to 6 weeks. So it went down to 41.5. And
that's a little bit of games, man. I understand why they put it. It's because this team injuries mess with this whole roster pretty much.
It did. No, because you know when you have like you got a groove going, you're in the zone, and they're getting wins at this point. When you get knocked out of that zone, sometimes it's very hard for them to get back. And they just couldn't get back there.
They were first in the East.
No, they were a really good team
with like a 4-game lead. This team,
and the game that kind of ruined their season was when they played, I think, the Warriors the second time at Chicago.
Yeah, Levine and Lonzo got hurt.
Yeah, Lonzo, I don't think came back for the rest of the year, and Levine was pretty much hurt their whole entire year.
Yeah, when this team was healthy, the reason why they were so good, because I know some people might think it's a fluke, but I'll explain why this team was so good. Remember, they had Lonzo and they had Caruso. These are elite perimeter defenders. So elite to the point where they entirely change your defensive ranking as a basketball team.
Yeah.
Like, you're going up about 10 spots in team defense, as a defensive team as a whole, because these guys are so dominant in the defensive end. To lose those guys, you kind of lose your identity. I guess because
that's exactly what happened to them last year.
Yeah.
They just lost their identity as a basketball team.
So, but 41, man, that is a little bit of games for a talented team.
I'm going over.
I'm going over too.
Because you're getting healthy Levine back, you're getting Caruso back. You signed Goran Dragic to run your backup one. You still got Ayo Dosunmu. You got Drummond, which off the bench,
yeah,
could give you a good 10 minutes.
Patrick Williams coming back.
You got Patrick Williams coming back for hopefully a full season.
You mentioned Ayo Dosunmu?
Yeah.
You got
Ayo Dosunmu, right? You got Kobe White for now. I'm assuming they're gonna trade him either midway through the year.
He feels like the Colin Sexton situation.
He does.
Yeah.
And hopefully, for their sake, Nikola Vucevic actually remembers how to play offense again.
I don't think he'll be any worse than what he was last year.
Because defensively, he actually wasn't too bad. But offensively, oh my goodness, it was very hard to watch at times.
Yeah, all he needs, give him a good double-double again.
Right, that's pretty much all they need. Because Levine and DeRozan are good for 25 points per game.
And Levine, again, seems like he get better every year. So
Right, exactly. 41.5.
That's too little. But they put that 41.5 because they're anticipating them getting hurt. That's what it is.
No, it went down because of Alonzo. Because
of Alonzo.
Because it was 44.5 before.
That's still a little bit to me. But it's because they're anticipating injuries, which is understandable. But because even like DeRozan alone could get that 41. He could get that 41. So I think that's a clear over.
But yeah, I like over for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
The Toronto Raptors 46.5. I'm gonna make this quick because they didn't really do anything all season. They signed Otto Porter, which if you're a Warriors fan, that sucks because he was very important for them.
That was a great pickup by Toronto.
No, it was. I'm not really denying that. I'm just saying it's just kind of ridiculous the only thing they really did.
It's because they're banking on Scotty Barnes to be their guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They teased the whole Kevin Durant situation, but I think Brooklyn wanted Scotty Barnes, and Masai Ujiri hung up the phone immediately because,
as he should.
He's a very, very smart man. So 46.5. My initial thought is under, but when you're coached by Nick Nurse, and that's Toronto Raptors team, I feel like they always have a shot to win like 50 games.
You can never underestimate a team coached by Nick Nurse.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's like they're tough.
This is a tough conference, man.
Because you still got Gary Trent Jr. You still got Fred VanVleet. You got
Fred. Yeah.
You got Pascal Siakam, who remembered how to play basketball last year.
He had a fantastic year last year.
No, he was amazing.
They got Precious Achiuwa still, right?
You got Precious Achiuwa, who in the second half of the year was actually becoming a knockdown three-point shooter, which it's huge because he wants to play
the Nick Nurse system.
Exactly. Got Thaddeus Young, who looked pretty good, and you got OG,
who's also going to be better too. They got Scotty Barnes and OG, who's going to be a lot better next year.
My gripe with this team is your backup guard situation is very, very thin. But the thing with Nick Nurse is that he be running lineups that I don't be understanding how it works. It just does.
He be having lineups with Utah Watanabe.
Exactly.
Be working.
Exactly. So he might have a lineup where Thaddeus Young runs point and it just works out. And he's not afraid to stick with the lineup if they see they're producing. So
I'll say this: if Scotty Barnes and OG take this lead, this could become a very scary.
They're a
team.
contender if that happens.
Yeah, they're a contender. This becomes a very scary team. I think Scotty Barnes is probably going to be an all-star this year. I'm high on him doing that. OG is one of the best two-way players in the entire league, to be honest with you.
His offensive game is very underrated to me.
It is very underrated because he averaged like 20, right?
I think he averaged like 17.
Like 17. Okay, so but he's got like 20 or 25. He could shoot the three ball too.
He could. No, he's a good three-point shooter.
So 46.5. I feel like we're picking everybody to go over.
I haven't. I got it written down. No, they're tough. I think they're very tough, actually.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go over because there's a different team that now I was over before, but now I'm under.
Okay,
because of recent events. So I'm gonna pick Toronto to go over.
Well, recent events, indeed.
Yes, sir.
So up next, we got probably the hardest team for me to decide the over under, the Philadelphia 76ers, and it's at 50.5.
This is the hardest team for sure.
So, okay. You still got Embiid, who is the most unluckiest player in the league. He just can't have nice things. I feel like that's kind of established now. You got Tyrese Maxey, who looked great last year. You got Harden. Still. So we'll see how that goes.
Got Tobias.
You still got Tobias Harris, who I feel like locks your team at a point. You got PJ Tucker now, which I like PJ Tucker, but for the contract you signed him for was ridiculous.
And they got Daniel House.
You also signed Daniel House as well. You traded for D'Anthony Melton. You want to trade Danny Green in your first round pick for that. It's cool. That's it.
What I will say is...
Oh, my fault. And they also signed Montrezl Harrell.
Oh, yeah, right.
That was recent.
So this team did get better. I think the biggest thing is that they got a backup center.
Yes, Joel Embiid can actually do his thing called sit down.
They got a backup center so that Joel Embiid can sit down. He can rest. But I think the biggest thing about this team is really how James Harden is going to perform. And I, for one, think that he'll go back to a all-star level. I think him coming back to Brooklyn with that hamstring injury messed up the healing process. we all see how bad hamstring injuries are. I mean, look at Chris Paul. He looked like he had to retire.
He did.
Houston.
And it's actually interesting.
Then he goes to OKC and brings them to the playoffs. And look what he did in Phoenix. Right? So he made Phoenix relevant.
Playoffs aside, yes.
Prayer. So I think with this full year of rest, I think James Harden goes back to playing at an all-star level. So this team will be an elite team in the conference. Tyrese Maxey, he's going to take that job. I mean, you could see that he is going to improve so much. He even got better in the playoffs. Yeah, it's like it's like at times this team goes as far as Tobias Harris takes them.
No, because my thing is like they need to improve this team more, but with that $35 million contract still there, there's only so much you could do. Thanks, Elton Brand, for that.
Yeah, Elton Brand is terrible for that.
Tobias Harris over me?
Right. So
shout out to you, brother.
What is it, 50 and a half?
50 and a half, yes.
50 is a lot of games.
I think you can get that just off the fact that Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid. I just don't know how hard he's going to perform. What's funny is he was an all-star last year. He had his moments before he stopped giving them.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go over it. I think James Harden plays at an all-star level this year. So I think I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go under. I think he could.
You think he could?
Not could, but like it's like what Jordan Embiid said. They don't have the Houston James Harden anymore.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure you know that as well.
Yeah, of course.
But
that's why I specifically said all-star level. I didn't say
MVP level.
MVP level.
Houston
Harden's an MVP level player.
Yeah, of course, no doubt. I'm just saying, like, and it's like, I think he's like, he might be fringe all-star, maybe not all-star at all, like type of player. I think it depends. I feel like if he can give you 18 on good efficiency and Maxey takes his lead, that's like the best case scenario for them.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, Harden won't have to do anywhere near as much.
Right. I think he's at least going to give all-star level. I would say the peak of his production is an all-NBA level player.
Like all-NBA second team type player?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to go under, but not by much.
Mm-hmm.
But if Harden's good, then this team it'll just be a playoff problem because you know how Harden is.
It'll just be a playoff problem, exactly.
So, moving on to Milwaukee. 53.5. They signed Joe Ingles. They brought back everybody else.
The easiest over in the entire conference.
Yeah, over. They're the Milwaukee Bucks. They have Giannis Antetokounmpo.
They're the Milwaukee Bucks, and they got better, and they got the best signing in free agency.
The only thing that's a little concerning is not for this year, just Middleton is kind of hesitating to pick up that player option. So That's a bit concerning for later on the line. But for this year specifically, they win like 58 games.
Yeah, they're going to probably win like 58 plus. Yeah. I mean, to have Joe Ingles and Middleton, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, you pretty much essentially run this team back just plucking Joe Ingles.
Joe Ingles, who's a great defender, who's a great playmaker, who's a great shooter.
The only reason why defensively might be a small issue is because he did rip up his knee. Right. But he was already slow to begin with. Yeah,
but if there's any team where you could have a teeny bit of slack in the perimeter, it's the Bucks.
Yeah, because they hide you.
Yeah, because they could cover you. Because you got Giannis who could cover you. You got Brook Lopez who could cover you. So
that's Bobby Portis.
And then you got Drew Holiday might come out of nowhere and swipe the ball from your hand.
Right.
So this is the Bucks. We know who they are.
Right. They should have won the finals last year, but Chris Middleton got hurt. So
I would say they would have been there. They would have definitely been there.
They would have won. They would be Golden State. It would have been a fun series, though, but they would be Golden State. Next up, now, things changed. The Boston Celtics. It was 55.5 before. Now it's 54.5 due to the fact that their coach is probably going to get suspended, more likely, for the whole entire season because, you want to be doing the nasties with people. So,
yeah, if Ime Udoka is not here for the whole season, I mean, this is a clear under. I mean, Ime Udoka changed this team. He changed the culture of this team. He changed the environment of this team. I mean, they believe in his system. For him to be absent, this is not the Golden State Warriors. They can't not have Steve Kerr and they still buy into the system. This is not that kind of team. So I could see some struggles.
Okay, so your head coach might be Marcus Smart now. Let's start with that.
Pretty much.
Your head coach probably Marcus Smart. You roster-wise, they got better.
Definitely. Yeah, they were there without question.
They traded for Malcolm Brogdon. They traded nothing for him. They were supposed to have Gallinari, but he unfortunately tore his ACL in the Eurobasket thing. And you kept Derek White. You still got your two borderline superstar players.
You're with Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Right.
And they still got Robert Williams, who's hurt, right?
I think he just recently
got surgery. He just got hurt recently.
And you get the greatest player former of all time in Horford.
So, in terms of they got better in the playmaking aspect, too, because Michael Bogdan and
shooting. They needed that because if you saw in the playoffs, especially in the finals, there were too many times where the playmaker was just not where you wanted it to be, and they were just chucking up threes.
Yeah,
and they will go to long stretches at times where they just couldn't score.
And Michael Bogdan, he's a good three-point shooter.
Yeah, Michael Bogdan could shoot the ball. He could play make. He could run the offense at his own pace. And even though I'll give credit to Jason Tatum for this, he did take a leap in the playmaking aspect.
Without question. But that's another thing that they got a player of Michael Bogdan's caliber who, he's a good enough player. He brings so much to the table where you have to adjust to him.
Right.
Ime Udoka can't be there
to help make that a seamless transition.
Right. So there might be some early struggles or mid-season struggles at some point, which will make them have the under. I'm not saying like they're gonna go under like 10 to 12 games. I'll say maybe they go under by maybe 5 games.
Yeah, no, I think it's a clear under, but I'm not saying they're not gonna be a top 6 seed.
Right.
They are. This team is too talented, and they got better. And I think, and they know what they want to do is just not having your leader of men there. It's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough beat. Man.
And that's pretty much all I gotta say. There's still a good roster. They're gonna get things done
without question. Yeah,
and hopefully, I think this might be a wasted year. I mean, maybe hopefully the year after things can
Yeah, because if they don't have him for the whole year, then it's a waste of year. It's over.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's over.
And last but not least, the Miami Heat 49.5. You still got Jimmy Butler, which come playoff time, he turns to a Super Saiyan. That he pretty much almost dragged this Heat team to the finals.
Yeah, almost.
He just missed that shot because, if you know who will. You lost PJ Tucker for nothing, unfortunately.
It's a tough loss.
You still got Kyle Lowry, who old.
He was out of shape last year. Let's see, he'd probably be in better shape this year.
No, he was out of shape because he got hurt. He missed a lot of time the whole entire year. Mm-hmm. You guys like a hero who's not trying to come off the bench anymore. I think it's a bit more concerned for this Heat team than I feel like people want to really let on. But at the end of the day, 49.5 with the Miami Heat, I still think that's a pretty easy over.
This is the regular season. I'm going to say it's easy over too. It's the regular season, so Bam's going to be Bam without question. He's going to dominate.
He's going to,
because it's the regular season.
He's going to dominate on the defensive side of the ball. It's just offensively, it's just going to have the aggressive nature for him to do it like he did in that Game 7. In Game 7, he was very aggressive. And
in the regular season, yeah.
In some games.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. In the regular season, I think they're going to be fine.
Because that was my biggest thing last year. Because there was games where he would dominate offensively, and there's games he would just be ridiculously passive. I just didn't understand it.
And Tyler Hero's going to, if he plays anywhere near the way he played last year, he's going to destroy everybody. Because he was, in the regular season, he was unstoppable last year.
And hopefully you would like for Gabe Vincent to take a step up.
Yes.
And say they're Max Juice, because they showed flashes last year of things I really liked.
It
just wasn't consistent enough.
I agree with you. If those guys take a step up, then clear over.
And the biggest X factor in this team to me is Victor Oladipo.
Yeah.
What you gonna get from him?
That's true. Can he be that 6 man?
Because if he could be a consistent 6 man off your bench unit, you're gonna be good.
They're gonna be good. Yep. I agree with you.
Nothing too much to worry about, but roster wise, I'm not a huge under, but it's Coach Spo.
That's another thing. It's Coach Spo.
It's Coach
Spo. They still got Dwayne Dedmon?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Coach Spo. He gonna make it work.
I'm gonna go under by 1 game. I think we're 48.
Did he win 48?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over. Did he win 51?
Mm-hmm. All
right. Especially for games that they need Jimmy Butler, you already know where he's gonna be about. So
yeah, when you need him, he'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it for the Eastern Conference. Now moving on out west, and for starters, we're gonna go with the Houston Rockets at 23.5.
I mean, this is a clear under because this is a team that's clearly This is a team that's clearly tanking. I mean, they got to trade Eric Gordon.
Yeah, I don't know why he's still in the team.
Yeah, I don't know why he's still in the team, and I'm sure contenders will take him. Jalen Green, he's gonna be so much better this year. He was scary good in the second half of the season last year.
Yeah, because the first half it was a little embarrassing.
Yeah, it was.
But that's because I feel like he was trying to find his footing on what to do and what not to do. I think he figured out in the second half of the year and looked really good,
which is understandable. And I think Kevin Porter's gonna. He always plays good, to be honest with you. He's good too. But I mean, do they really have any other really? Oh, they got Kenyon Martin Jr.
Yeah.
They got Kenyon Martin Jr. He's good too, but I think they need more pieces to really form the right nucleus of this. Because again, this is another team that wants to be in Detroit situation, that wants to be in Orlando situation. There's just a little bit more steps left for that.
I'm insulted, by the way. I think it's a clear over, actually.
Really?
Because there's one guy you did not mention now, and I'm insulted. My boy Alperen Sengun.
That's true. You're right.
I'm insulted. Right. I'm insulted that you didn't mention him. I actually really do like the young players in this team, to be honest. There's also Josh Christopher, who looked all right and stretches. You mentioned Kenyon Martin Jr., who could stretch the floor and is a good shot blocker as well. You got Ty Washington off the draft late, which I do like. And you also got Terry Eason. I do like these young players, and I think it's enough for them to win 28 games. I'm not saying they're going to be a playing team or anything world beating.
28 games as a playing team is crazy.
No, I'm not saying they're going to be a playing team.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I think they're going to win like 28 games. There will be some improvement. They got to be like Orlando from last year. There's going to be improvement made from the situation. It's just, especially Jabari Smith Jr., who they got number 3 overall pick, which we forgot to mention, who I think is going to be a stud. That was my favorite player coming out the draft outside of Jay and Ivy.
All right. Gotcha.
So, next, Oklahoma City, and with also same number, 23.5. And the biggest thing that sucks.
They lost Chet.
No Chet.
They lost Chet.
He's out for the year, unfortunately, and that sucks. I really want to, of all the rookies I want to watch play, I was excited because I just wanted to see how it worked.
Yeah, me too. I watched him a lot. I think that's the rookie I watched the most in the tournament was Chet Holmgren, and he completely dominated in that tournament. He did not spread the floor too much. He kind of shown how much he could do that in the summer league.
Right.
I thought this was a clear over before he got hurt. But
I still think it's over.
My thing is knowing OKC,
it's whether they feel like it.
Yeah. No, it's always if they feel like it, because if they want to, they could win I think they could win 30 plus. But knowing them, they probably lost Chet. They're like, you know what? Let's just get another guy.
Right. Let's take Victor.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So SGA is gonna take a big step this year. So that might be the reason why they go over, is because how well he plays. I think he's gonna be an All-NBA player this year. But
they got a lot of young players. They got Usman Gang, which I don't know much about him.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Jalen Williams brothers.
They got Man.
They got Trey Man. They got Josh Giddey and Luke Wentz.
Giddey, who's gonna be so much better. He is a stud too. And they got
Luke Wentz,
and
they re-signed Kenrich Williams as well, which I was mad because I wanted him in the Lakers. He's a really good hustle player and brings a lot of energy.
They got Poku.
And Poku, who's still raw, which hopefully you will see that next step this year, because this is his third year coming up.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can see something progress this year, because the talent is there. It's just he's still very, very raw.
Right.
But I still like over here a lot of talent in this team. I'm not saying they're gonna be, again, same thing with Rockets. I don't think they're gonna win 40 games, but
I'm gonna go over with you too.
Again, it depends what the hell they feel like doing.
Yeah, it depends what they're doing. I was gonna go over by probably 6 games.
Not really one.
Now it's probably by 1 now, because they lost Chet. But nonetheless, over.
Yeah. Now, next up, Portland, 39.5. No, start this one. Another one that you could start. One of my favorites, over. Now, this is one of my. I like this Portland Trail Blazers roster. Whether they actually do something with this, not sure. But you gave Damian Lillard back.
Yeah.
Who, when he was playing last year, bad year happens. Whatever.
Yeah.
The good thing about last year, though, is Anthony Simons shown what he could do.
He improved so much.
Josh Hart shown what he could do.
Him too. I did not know he could score like that.
Me either. Trent Walker looked all right. And then, offseason, you draft Shaedon Sharpe, who got injured in the summer league, unfortunately. You traded for Jeremy Grant, which someone you kind of needed.
That was a really good That was a really good wing scorer to get. That was fantastic.
And addition by subtraction, you don't have Cody Zeller no more.
Yeah, because he was trash. But this is Dame. When healthy, if Dame is healthy, he's good for like 40.
No, he is.
He's good for like 40 alone with a trash roster. This is a decent roster. This is, I could dare say, argue this is best roster since his rookie season. So I think this is a clear over.
No, I like this team a lot. And you got used to Nurkic, who isn't great. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but for what he brings,
he give you like a good, at least like a 16-6.
He can.
You know what I'm saying? So this is a decent roster. There should be no reason why this team is not in the plan or in a spot.
No, this team is honestly. I think they're too good for them to not be contending later in April. I'm sorry. It's
right. Exactly.
And if not, Damian Lillard and Chauncey Billups, I'm looking at y'all.
Right. Exactly. And if
especially for Chauncey Billups, this is your first full year to me. Last year don't count.
Last year was a mulligan for Chauncey Billups.
Up next, Sacramento Queens. They're 33.5. Yes, you heard me right. That's the Lakers fan we talking.
So this is an under, obviously, because of they're the Kings. Now, this team should be heading for the over because they made some decent pickups.
They signed Malik Monk, unfortunately.
Right.
They traded for Kevin Huerter, which is good. You still got Terrence Davis. Sabonis and Fox, the little they did play together, looked promising.
Which, I mean, we all knew that was going to happen when those two got together. I mean, those two are one of the more consistent players in the league.
Right. And you got Rashawn Holmes.
Yep.
It's not, and you still got David Mitchell.
And they still got Harrison Barnes.
Exactly. It's not like I don't like the roster. I think the roster is pretty good.
It's honestly just the organization.
All things considered. Two things. One, hate your coach. Hate Mike Brown. And when you're the Sacramento Kings, you're going to lose Sacramento Kings things. I got teased 1 year where I thought this was going to be all right. Then they fired Dave Yeager and decided to hire Luke Walton, and you know how that went.
So, again, this team, with the talent that they have, they should go over.
Oh, they also dropped Keegan Murray. I forgot to mention him.
Right. And they still got Davion Mitchell.
I said that already.
Okay.
I'm about to say, like, yeah, they have a lot of good young players. They
do.
They really do. It's just the fact I just don't think Mike Brown's going to put it together.
I agree with you. I don't think he is either. And I mean, the Kings are the Kings. I'm not going to let this team fool me.
You're the one side.
Right. So I'm going to go clear under. Again, they should go over with the talent that they have, but I'm going to go under here.
Under. Sorry. They got to show me.
Yeah, they're going to have to show us.
Would I bet on it? No, because, things happen. But I'm just saying, no. I think I'd stay away, honestly. Next up, my Los Angeles Lakers. 45.5.
I'm going to go over. That's 1. 2.
You believe in the king?
Of course I do. This team got a lot younger, right? They got Lonnie Walker. They got my favorite thing about this team is that they got Scottie Pippen Jr., who looks fantastic. He looks like a baller in this league.
In some league, yeah. Hopefully he gets actual PT.
Right. I'm sure he will. Now, I hate what they got. They lost for him, but they got Pat Beverly. That's the exact guy that you need in the locker room to push these players to play effort, to play defense. They who am I missing here?
They got Lonnie Walker. They got Thomas Bryant.
They got Thomas Bryant, who's one of my favorite pickups too. They can spread the floor. It's a pick and fade player with LeBron James. Bigs who always spread the floor, always play well with LeBron.
Damian Jones, who might be okay.
He might be all right
for what Durant wants to do, and
Troy Brown. There you go. And Troy Brown, who they got. So this team got longer. This team, in terms of length, they got longer.
Oh, and we forgot one more thing because it's recent now. They got Dennis Schroeder back.
Oh, and they got Dennis Schroeder back, who I like. I always felt like he should have ran it back with this team from his first year. So it's good that they got him back. They got a lot of wings, they got a lot of guards, but they got a lot of defense in that position.
Yeah, you got Westbrook, you got Beverly, you got Nunn, and
you got Nunn. Oh my God, I forgot about him.
And you got
he's actually gonna play.
Dennis Schroeder. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
You got Dennis Schroeder. You got Lonnie Walker.
Yes.
You got Austin Reeves. A lot of guards.
It's a lot.
Some play defense, some don't. Still got Westbrook.
Still got Westbrook. Now, again, the biggest question with this team is, will Anthony Davis be healthy? Probably not.
You saw that clip that when he was playing 2K, they played as stuff and he got injured?
Yes, I did. Probably not. I think I'm saying the over despite him getting hurt. Like, even if he gets hurt, it's because I like that this team got younger. I like that this team could run more. This team could have more effort on defense, especially Pat Beverly and Darvin Ham. I like Darvin Ham more and more. I hear him talk. The more I hear about what his scheme is, and when they got Pat Beverly, I mean, it just felt right on schedule that this team got Pat Beverly and a Darvin Ham team.
No, I believe in Darvin Ham's philosophies. It's just the fact of like, okay, you traded Taylor Horn-Tucker and Stanley Johnson for Patrick Beverly, who was going to be was probably going to get cut anyways. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
probably was going to get cut anyways. And they could have had Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, but they didn't feel like forking over first round picks, and they didn't feel like taking Daniel Tice's contract. Mind you, Westbrook was going to be part of the deal, but nah.
It's crazy because they could have used Daniel Tice.
No, Daniel Tice
could have used him.
He's good to stretch the corner three and can get rebounds and stops. Again, he's not a terrible player to have. He's okay. He's overpaid, don't get me wrong, but he's not a terrible player.
Well, I think this team's going to be a lot better, and I think LeBron's going to play with a chip on his shoulder this year.
Being a lot better says nothing, judging from what the hell was that last year.
That's true. I think this team will be in the NBA playoffs. That's a better way to put that.
You know what's bad when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis and you're questioning whether the team's making the playoffs or not?
I remember there was a time where it was nonsense to even question if LeBron was going to make the playoffs.
It was nonsense to question if LeBron was not making the finals.
That's true. That is true. How times have changed.
Yes, how times have changed. Good job, Genie. Good job, Prenica.
But I'm going over ultimately.
I'm going under. 11.5. They still have Westbrook. That's my biggest thing. They still have Westbrook. Anthony Davis, can he learn how to shoot a mid-range again? I don't know.
My thing is, can he just be there?
He wasn't good when he was there.
Yeah, but they're a better team when he's there. When he's not
sometimes.
There. When he's not there, they're not a better team. It's bad.
Sometimes
it's bad. We still need that size.
No, they do. We still need size.
Rim protection.
Of course, I'm just saying. Like sometimes
I will much rather have AD with no jump shot than have not have him at all.
I don't know.
Even though he's gonna make shots, I refuse to believe that he's gonna come back next year and not be able to not shoot. That's crazy.
I don't know. You seen that Warriors again the second time we played them?
That's okay, but he been in the league for like 10 years. For 9 years, he was able to shoot. For 1, he wasn't. So.
He's acting like he's ringless again. Actually, give effort and play.
Yeah, he had 1 bad year. That's fine. He been an MVP level player for every other year besides that. So
no, it's like it continued from where we left off before he got injured that year after he won the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when he came back when we almost we was trying to fight to get out the play in. That's when it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyways, next up, Spurs.
Ooh, this is probably the worst team in the conference.
22.
No, not probably.
22.5.
That's under. They're winning like 15.
They win 10?
I'm going to say they win 10. I'm going to say they win 10. Out of
respect for Greg Popovich, they win like 20 games.
Yeah, in today's league, I can't see like a Bobcats level team. In today's NBA, to see a Bobcats level team is crazy.
But you got to think of it like this, though.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how bad this team is? Last week, we went to 2K to see who's in the team. Because for the life of us, we didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know. I only knew like Primo.
We knew Joshua Primo, Devaso, Keldon Johnson, and Jacopoto, who for the Spurs won 2 first-round picks for Jacopoto. I like Jacopoto, don't get me wrong, but 2 first-round picks for Jacopoto, insane to me. I'm sorry.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I'm trying to think about it. I've been watching NBA for a long time. The clear best player in this team is Keldon Johnson. Now, he is no scrub.
I'm sorry, that's sad.
But this is a role player.
He's really good, though. I like Keldon Johnson.
Have you seen a team so bad that their best player is a role player?
That's like, you know what that's like? That's like if at one point your best player in your team was a prime Trevor Ariza.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's kind of what this is right now.
Yeah, this is, if you're a betting man, bet that under today, right now.
If Greg Popovich gets the over with this roster, I don't want to hear any other name for being the greatest coach of all time. Because what the hell is this?
He gets the over with this roster. They should just make a ring for him.
No, he should
just make his own ring.
It should be better at everything. 124 games with with this guy for sinking roster.
Right. But yeah, this is a clear. This is a tank if you ever seen one.
It is.
This is a clear tank. They're trying to get the number 1 pick. Like, clear as day. You should be betting throughout the NBA season. If you're betting, man, you should be betting for this team to lose by the spreads. You should be betting this team to lose everything. Like, this team will be bad.
Hence why, and they traded for DeJounte Murray because they want that full-blown restart. Even though DeJounte Murray is still young as it is, but they didn't want to waste his prime, which
they didn't want to waste his
prime. I understand. Like, when you look like an for your player, I respect it. It's just, dang.
Yeah, this is a bad roster.
Moving on to the New Orleans Pelicans, 43.5. You get big boy Zion back.
Yeah, they're getting the big boy back. I think this is over. I mean, I think this is easy to me. This
team has one of the best starting fives in the league to me.
I agree with you.
You got CJ McCollum, you got Herb Jones, you got Brandon Ingram, you got Zion Williamson, you got Jonas Valanciunas.
That's a 6 starting 5. CJ McCollum and this team is a different animal.
He looked rejuvenated.
Yeah, he did. He looked amazing in this team. He looked damn near unstoppable.
He did.
And B.I., I absolutely love B.I.
Now, what I saw from the playoffs last year was absolutely magnificent.
In his first playoffs. And he showed up and showed out. They still got Grand Theft Alvarado.
Yeah, they got Grand Theft Alvarado. You got Trey Murphy still. You got Jackson Hayes. Which I know you don't mess with him like that, but off the bench.
But he's all right. Off the bench. Yeah, he's a great lob threat.
He's a great lob threat off the bench. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much about it. But that's pretty much all you need.
Yeah, I mean, when you got Herb Jones, he can light it up.
Not just the fact he light up, he will lock you down.
He will lock you up. And then the other one, I forget what his name is. Trey Murphy too. I mean, these guys, I've seen games. These guys, they come by for like 10 threes. Like, just them two alone. So this is a really good ball club. I mean, they're bringing back the same roster. They're just adding Zion to it.
You're just adding Zion to it. And adding Zion to that, who averaged 27 points per game on 60% efficiency with the worst possible spacing I could ever see in my whole entire life.
And he was on NBA.
Right. It's like...
Oh, and they still got Devontae, correct?
Yeah, they got Devontae Graham.
They still got Devontae.
He's Devontae Graham.
He's Devontae, yeah, that's true. So this is going to be a great ball club. This is going to be another fun ball club. Probably one of the more fun teams. Like, I'm going to watch a lot of Cavs. I'm going to watch a lot of Pels. This is going to be a great team to watch.
14.5. I like the over.
Yeah, I'll let this clear over to me.
Next up. Oh, this is drafted Dyson Daniels out of the draft, by the way.
Gotcha.
With that Lakers pick because, we suck. The Clippers, 52.5. Now, here's what their offseason consisted of.
John Wall.
You signed John Wall. Ain't got to call him. That's pretty much about it.
So this team is similar. I would say like I'll say the status of this team is similar to the Bulls. Will they be healthy? If they're healthy, I think it's over. I think this team will have a great season.
No, to me, I feel like if they feel like taking the foot off the gas or not.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna complete. I just thought about one thing, and I'm gonna completely change it no matter what. Even if they're fully healthy, I think it's the under. This team is gonna low manage.
Yeah, so like
this team is gonna low manage. Yeah.
Like it. You know what? Granted, I will give them this. If they low manage with the roster they have, they can still win games.
They can still no.
They shown last year.
They could definitely still win games. But what is it? You said 52.5?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of games.
They did win 42-41 with Paul just playing like 15 games.
Despite all that, right?
And Kawhi playing no games.
I'm going to say they win like 50, 51. I think it's an under. This season's no low manage because this team wants the playoffs. They want to be in the playoffs. They're going to do everything in their power to be in the playoffs. Because
they feel like they got robbed of the championship 2 years ago.
Right.
When they lost to Suns in the West Conference when Leonard got hurt, which
they did look like the best team in the league. Like I thought I was like, damn, maybe they could have won.
But they probably could have.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see that series with them in Milwaukee though.
That would have been so much fun. But I'm gonna go over by like a game or two. I can't. That low management, I can't.
I'm gonna say over anyways, but instead of them winning like 62 games, which I feel like they're capable of, they win like 55.
Yeah, they have a peak of like 60 plus.
I'm about to say, but you still got Norman Powell for who you got last year.
And a steal. Oh my god.
Still got Marcus Morris. Still got Zubac. You lost Hardenstein, but it's okay. Still got Nicholas Batum. Got Covington still, who you stole.
Rejuvenated Nick Batum. He's a freaking lockdown defender now.
He could lock down and shoot threes again.
Yeah.
Again,
this is a really good roster.
I don't think people understood how wacky he was in Charlotte.
Yeah, he just he did that on purpose.
He probably did.
Now this is a really good roster.
He probably did pull Blake Griffin.
He pulled the Blake Griffin. He did.
But yeah, anyways, really good roster. The playoff time, they're gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah.
Next up, the Minnesota Timberwolves, their thing went up to 48.5.
It went up
to 48.5, yes.
This is under, man.
Okay, so they signed Sports Dynasty's favorite player, Rudy Gobert. By signing, they traded for him. They traded, everything. They traded Jared Vanderbilt. They traded Malik Beasley. They traded all the things that I can't think
future.
of. But I know the 6 first round picks, but I know those other players. They traded Pat Beverly. They traded, again, like I said, like 6 first round picks. I think it was. I think it was
like 6
for a center who wants to read 3 times, but has clearly shown that a playoff time not sustainable. Now I'm going to defend again. I will defend him here real quick. The perimeter defenders he have in this team is better than he had in Utah because no one in Utah feels like playing defense in that godforsaken team.
I'll just like to say one thing. Juancho Herman-Gomez dropped 27 on his head top.
He did. No, he didn't. I'm not. Shout out to Bo Cruz, by the way.
Shout out to Bo Cruz. But this is not hustle. This is reality. This is reality. This is reality. He dropped 27 on his head. It always feels like these random players make a mockery out of Rudy Gobert. Now, I'm not saying because despite it all, he is a good player. He is a good player. Like, he is a good player, but my God, for his strength to be what it is, he gets destroyed by a lot of people.
Terrence Mann dropped 40 on his head top.
Now,
Spencer didn't really dunk on him.
Right. Now, Rudy Gobert, overall, good pickup, right? But for what you lost, it wasn't worth it. You have no depth. Who's coming off the... Is Anthony Edwards going to average like 35 points a game? Is he going to turn to like Jordan?
Okay, let's think about this. Okay, let's think about this. You got McLaughlin off your bench as a backup point guard who look better than D'Lo. That's another thing. Why is D'Lo still there? Whatever. That's
yeah, D'Lo's terrible.
Let's make a conversation for another day.
He's under 30.
D'Lo?
Yeah,
I figured.
He's so much younger than that.
Same draft class cat.
I know. That's crazy.
But yeah, okay. You still got Jordan McLaughlin. You got Nas Reed, and you got Colin and Jaden McGee. Good players. I'm not denying that.
They lost Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah, no, Vanderbilt part of the trade. My biggest thing is, D'Lo. Okay, I will say this: as much crap as I give him,
his season wasn't that bad.
No, he actually had a really good year.
Yeah, he had a good year.
He got better at playmaking. He got better at defending. As a team defender, as a one-on-one defender, he's terrible. But as a team defender, he looks pretty good. I will give him credit for that. It's just when his shots don't hit, it feels like he's useless.
His good is good. His bad is really bad.
Like, if you look at that playoff series last year, he was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
It felt like nothing could drop. And it felt like he could have stepped his teammates. By far, the best thing you take away from that playoff series is Anthony Edwards, which we will figure when the lights are brightest, he gonna show up.
The thing that bothers me the most about this trade is that they didn't keep Malik Beasley.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
That's what bothers me. If they kept at least him, I would buy. You know what? I probably would have went over here. But for them to lose, I mean, he was just too valuable to this team. Vanderbilt was very valuable too. But to lose both of them, I just can't. I can't buy into this team. I can't buy. They have no depth. And when teams with perimeter guards who like to really play in the perimeter, they're going to switch that pick in the pick and roll to Rudy Gobert. They're going to make him play in the perimeter. He's going to be forced to sit down. Then what?
Shout out to Nas Reed. Help the win play again.
Right.
Playing game. So,
under.
Yeah, under 40.5, too rich for my blood. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yep.
I think they'll be a playoff team, though. Don't get me wrong.
I think so, too. Because if they're not,
we're going to have fun.
Yeah. So, they have to be a playoff team.
Denver, 50.5 is next.
50?
50.5.
50?
Denver's interesting.
Denver's interesting. Their situation is the same as, like, I'll say, like, the Bulls situation, where it's, like, they got to be healthy. If they're healthy, I think this is over. This is a good ball club. They got a lot of depth. Jokic being who he was without Jamal Murray could relieve him of those duties. And if Michael Porter, I mean, he should be better, but even him being a body matters because this team just gets struggling with injuries to such a degree. It's crazy. So I think it's over. I think I actually think this is going to be a clear over, to be honest with you. I think this is going to be one of the top 3 seeds in the conference.
If one of them stays healthy, it's a clear over. It's a clear over to me.
Yeah.
Because they almost won 50 games last year, and it was just Jokic for almost the whole entire season. You got Bruce Brown now.
Oh, great pickup.
You got KCP now.
They got him. We had this conversation. I think they got him because of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm convinced they traded Monte Morris and Will Barton because they looked so bad in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Monte Morris. He looked like he didn't belong. It was depressing, to say the least. You got Nate Sharp Thailand off the bench. Hopefully he gets better, but he looked really good last year.
I'm sure he will improve.
Okay, now here's my thing. And I kind of thought about this recently too. So before, I used to give him hell for them signing DeAndre Jordan and not bringing back Boogie Cousins.
Yeah.
I think I know what they're going with this now.
What's that?
Zeke Nnaji might have a bigger role this year than he did in past years, and hopefully he might be running their back of 5 instead.
Oh, okay.
Which, if Zeke Nnaji is good, cool.
That's good.
No problem. Because from the little I've seen, he looks pretty good. But
I'm all for whatever doesn't have DeAndre Jordan on the floor. I'm all for it.
Right, exactly. Because, oh my goodness. No, the fact that he continues to get his contract, I'm sorry, is beyond me. I don't want to be a man that's like kind of people's pockets, but come on.
Chase that bag, brother.
Oh, yeah, of course.
How you do it?
oh, yeah, of course. What? You do what you got to do. But, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a top 3 seed in the conference.
Yeah, Jokic.
Yeah, they got Jokic.
Hey, you got Jokic. You got Jamal Murray back after like 3 years, if he was like.
Mm-hmm. Well rested.
Well rested. Again, hopefully he stays healthy this time. And because the time that he got injured, where it looked like they was going to win the finals,
they look
just kids.
I'll never forget that year. They were so dominant.
But yeah, I'll go over it as well.
I'm going over.
Next up, this is going to be quick. The Utah Jazz at 24.5.
Under.
They just traded Bojan Bogdanovic. They got a lot back for Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
The only one left standing is Clarkson and Conley.
They will not. Again, if they start the season in this team, I don't think they play.
Exactly. So they're in San Antonio's boat. Clear under. They accepted it. They let it go. They failed. This is the new age. This is the new age of Utah. They're going to rebuild, and they're going to see what they can pick up from all the pieces.
Right. So yeah, they're going to be taking them. In San Antonio is going to compete for the worst teams in the league.
Without question.
And it's okay. At least they finally accepted it that, okay, this is not it. It's not going to, like, you're not doing anything with this team. And it's okay. They had a really good stretch. Fun for different reasons.
Yeah, they tried. They failed. Go back and try again. Rebuild. Let's see what happens in, like good 5 to 10 years. So it's all good.
But, yeah, nothing more to say about them. Next up, Dallas Mavericks, 48.5.
48?
Yep.
Over. This team improved. This team got better. Again, Alex and I were so hype about them picking up Christian Wood. I mean, this is great for Luka. They went from Dwight Powell, who on a good night gives you 7, to Christian Wood, who gives you 17 to 20, and he can stretch the floor, shoot threes on the perimeter. So,
right.
And you could give him the ball. He could handle the ball too. So this was fantastic. This was fantastic.
Yeah, I think 48 is. That's it?
That's it. They're winning like 52, 53 plus.
I think maybe more than that. I think
this is going to be a great
team.
I
think of all the years, I'm finally going to say this. I think I said this 2 years ago, but I think this year, I might have a little bit of sense. I think this year Luka wins MVP.
It got to come eventually. You know what I'm saying? It got to come eventually, and this might be the year. This might be the year he wins MVP. I'm assuming he's going to be an absolute monster this year. He is every year, but this year especially, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a monster. He's going to be top 3 MVP race this year. For sure. I agree with you.
Next up, the reigning, the defending, the undisputed NBA Finals champions, the Golden State Warriors at 52.5.
Over. They lost Otto Porter. Yes, that was bad, but they got Kuminga, who's getting better.
And they signed Gary Payne, which I forgot to mention for Portland. Great pick.
Oh, yeah. That was fantastic for Portland. They signed Dante DiVincenzo.
Right.
Who, oh, my goodness. That is a 3-and-D right there, man. That is a perfect pickup. Perfect kind of player to buy into Golden State's system. Also, Kuminga also played in the Euro tournament, too.
Right.
So he's only going to get better. I watched, to be honest with you, I watched a lot of this Euro tournament, and I've seen these guys. They've been, they've been improving. So they're gonna come into the league. Kuminga's gonna come with his new stuff. I feel like there's one more young piece I'm forgetting about.
Moses Moody.
Moses Moody's gonna be better. They get Wiseman back. You know what I'm saying? It's a body. They get in the big who can stretch the floor.
You know why at bare minimum why they're obviously as a net neutral at bare minimum? Because they did the most important thing of the offseason they need to do.
Okay,
bring back Kevon Looney.
Yeah, they brought back Looney Tunes.
Kevon Olajuwon.
They brought him back. Yeah, he was an absolute menace this year.
Like that was like part number one. Make sure he comes back to the Warriors.
Yep.
And you got Steph.
Clay's gonna be better.
You got Clay again. Hopefully, since he get the playoffs under his belt, which he looked very inconsistent, but he got his legs back defensively.
Can't you when it counted?
Yeah, he got his legs back defensively as the playoffs went on.
Mm-hmm.
You got Draymond.
You got Dre.
And at the end of the day, with the pick up Dr. DiVincenzo and JaMychal Green as well is like
JaMychal Green, another big who spreads the floor. I mean, it's Golden State, man.
Golden State gonna do what Golden State does. 52.5 over. Love it.
Clearly, and I feel like there's one thing I missed with Dallas. I know there's some people that might think about, hey, they lost Jalen Brunson. Well, that's what Tim Hardaway's for.
Right.
He will fill in that void.
Also, one more thing. You brought up McGee, right, for them getting McGee?
No, I did not. They also got McGee, that's also huge. They got McGee. Again, they went from Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber to Christian Wood and McGee. They still have Kleber.
And Kleber could play the 4.
Yeah, Kleber can play the 4 now. He can stretch the floor.
He can play his natural position.
He can play his natural position. But now they got a true center and they got an undersized center who plays the role well.
Right.
So,
but yeah, Golden State, they're looking to defend their title, and they probably will. And they might win again. It's very possible, but we'll see what happens because it's very hard to repeat as champions. And
that's hard to do.
Yeah, I'm about to say winning is hard. Don't get me wrong. Defending is harder.
Yeah, and a stronger
league.
A stronger league. Yeah,
but they know what to do.
They know what to do. Yeah.
They do this in the sleepy feels like nowadays. Memphis, 48.5. They winning
48 only.
Yes, they're winning 63 games.
Yeah, they're gonna be number 1 seed.
They're winning 60 games. I'm calling it right now. It's over. They won 56 games last year, right? And this with John Morant missing time.
Yes, sir. With John Morant missing time.
You got Desmond Bain, who's going to be better. You got Dylan Brooks for hopefully the full season this time. Jared Jackson will miss the beginning of the season, unfortunately, but he'll be back. And he's gonna bring. You got Brandon. This is the same team except you lost DeAnthony Melton.
Yeah, same team without DeAnthony Melton.
And you brought in Danny Green, which I kind of like the pickup because he's got 3D. He fits what you
like a guy like that for that kind of team.
Right, exactly. He fits the identity. He fits what they want to do.
Another player who could potentially win MVP is John Morant too.
Exactly.
He's gonna be coming with blood too. We know what he about.
Right, so. Exactly. So, not really much to say.
Clear over. The West is easy, man. The West is easy.
For the most part, yeah. It's pretty clear cut of who's good and who's not. And finally, last but not least, the Phoenix Suns, and it's 53.5.
That's a lot of games.
I feel like they signed a center recently.
Huh?
Did they sign a center recently? My bugger.
A center?
Yeah.
That's not in?
Yeah, I don't think I am. Like
I'm not sure.
Okay. But
it's not McGee. So I mean, it's downgrade.
Okay, so you gained back Dario Saric this year, which he played well.
Oh, that's true.
He played well 2 years ago, but then he tore his ACL in Game 1 of the finals, and then GG's after that.
GG's, yeah. They getting Frank the Tank, right? Don't they got him?
No, and then I got him now.
Another wonderful pickup.
If you want to call it that, sure, it's Frank Kaminsky. You know what?
But remember, they can go like 50 for 15, like you guys see.
I don't care. Anyways, so this is the same team as last year.
Same team.
I can make the argument. Kind of got worse.
Yeah, because they lost McGee.
Yeah, but like you lost McGee, who was pivotal for this team.
Yeah, they lost McGee. So here's the thing. This is a great regular season team. This is a team that they lose guys and it kind of doesn't matter. They still be winning games. But I can't even say the conference. The whole league got stronger. So they're going to have a lot of harder games this year. So I'm going to say over. I still think they win 50 plus. Well, you said 52.5, right?
53.5.
53.5. So that's 54. 54 games is a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to miss that mark by like from a stretch of 2 to 4 games. They're going to miss that mark. But they will miss it, in my opinion. I think it's under.
If you've been listening to this to this long enough, you know I am not a fan of the Phoenix Suns. They also have the owner selling the team, by the way, so that's lovely.
That's true.
Which and then good for them because he was a piece of crap anyways. So, just think about this.
I mean, Book's gonna be Book. You know
Book gonna be Book in the regular season, and then playoff time. You know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. CP's gonna be CP.
You got Damian Lee off your bench now. You got Josh Okogie off your bench now. There you go. That's what it's not. It's not somebody recently.
That's
still got Leonard Shem off your bench.
But those are, again, this is the regular season we're talking about. So those guys, they're gonna make plays.
I understand that.
They're gonna make plays.
Here's another thing that I want to ask. Chris Paul didn't look too good to end that playoff team, and I'm putting that lightly. It just felt like when his birthday hit, he was just absolutely terrible at that point.
Yeah, he was bad. But
part of that could also be because of just adjusted and exploited his weaknesses, which made him look as bad as he did, which is a complete possibility.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be Father Time. I'm just saying.
I can't put Father Time and Chris Paul in the same conversation anymore. He's done too much. He defeated Father Time.
I can't hate LeBron.
He's still in the league. He's still
in the league, and he's still a very good player. I'm just saying.
He's an elite basketball player.
The only two people I'm convinced Father Time will never catch is Tom Brady and LeBron James.
They're gonna catch. I thought Father Time caught Chris Paul like 4 years ago, bro.
No, he beat him for now. He will lose again.
I don't think it's gonna be this year, bro.
But anyways, Devin Booker is gonna average 25 points again. You already know what he's gonna bring you. He was All NBA first team.
Probably like 27, 28.
He was All NBA first team, if I remember correctly.
He was first team. Yeah.
You got back Judge Ayton, which was I don't like him at all.
But better than not.
That was one of the most important things they needed to do because they almost didn't have a center. They was almost running Bismack Biyombo as their center, and
who played fantastic with them?
In the regular
season.
He was good, but and I like Big Biyombo, but Biyombo is Biyombo. You know what you're getting from Bismack. That's a bootleg JaVale McGee.
Playoff problem,
yes. But again, you have your in, so it's not a problem. Still, it's not a problem. Jay Crowder.
He's Jay Crowder.
He's still in the league because he has LeBron. I'm sorry. That's how far about Jay Crowder. He's a good 3-and-D player. Don't get me wrong, but
he is. He's decent.
But I feel like he gets as much attention as he does because he has LeBron. I'm sorry. I love Mikal Bridges though.
Mikal Bridges is fantastic. Yeah, he's a lockdown defender. He's probably gonna be an All-NBA defensive player. I mean, I'm sorry, all defensive team player. They got Cam Johnson who doesn't miss,
and Cameron Johnson is a sniper.
Yeah. So again, regular season, this is a great team.
It's a cool team. Don't get me wrong. It's just
this team is playoff problem team. Regular season, they're gonna dominate.
54 though.
54 is a lot. I said under. I said under by a couple games. I did say under though.
54 is a lot.
But if they do hit it, I won't be surprised.
They will be a top 16, I believe. I got to think about the teams real quick. But
I think they're gonna be top 5.
But under.
Yeah, I'm with you. Under.
Especially if that Game 7 is still in their head. Ooh, child.
It's the regular season.
I'm just saying. Sometimes people just don't bounce back from losses like that. You saw how bad. At halftime, they had a good game.
Here we go.
At halftime, they had a good game with Luka, bro.
Here we go.
Luka had as many points as they did at halftime. Sometimes you just don't bounce back from things like that.
That was a traumatic experience. So I will give you that. That is a traumatic experience.
Sometimes listen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it can happen. I'm just putting that in the air.
I understand. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I understand.
Listen, I'm just saying. Listen, and if that happens, then well, there you go. They're winning 41 games, and I get to laugh.
If the Phoenix Suns mess around and win under 45 games. I'm gonna be laughing.
Barring injury, obviously.
Barring injury, of course. I'm gonna be laughing. And I'm gonna be doing a lot of salsa dancing.
But that's about it.
Yeah, those are our over-unders. We're gonna probably next week, because we're gonna do every Thursday.
Yes.
A live stream every Thursday up in here. Next week we'll probably talk about our season prediction, our playoff predictions or award predictions, coach of the years, MVPs, all that stuff. It's been fun.
And be sure to subscribe to Sports Dynasty and Mafia Sports Report. This is the end of the first episode of Bucketphoria and first of many.
First of many. Enjoy. Take care.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.